Okay, there seems to have been a fair bit of interest in Detmer Metal Shaping's Aston Martin Buck that I designed for them. There's a few bits that haven't been shown though, so hopefully you metal workers out there and Aston Martin enthusiasts might find this interesting, or you might not. Here we go. This is the start, which is the Aston Martin DB4 that Detmer had. They've asked me to do a buck, and they'd had a bit of unsuccessful scenarios with other people doing 3D stuff, so the pressure was on. So the first issue is Aston Martins of that period are notoriously asymmetric and basically built to a fairly loose standard, putting it politely. So what I didn't want to do was be part of the problem and create a 3D front that fundamentally didn't match the car. So Damon from Detmer had wasted his money. At the outset, the task was to create an exo-buck. So how did I go about doing that? And what is an exo-buck? That will be explained. You'll have to wait. Found a car to use as a subject. I've scanned probably 10 or 15 DB4, in fact, more than that, probably 20 or 30 DB4s of all different types, from Zagatos to convertibles to, and they're convertibles, not Volantes, to saloons, not coupes. Most of that data is client data. So I had to go out and find find a car essentially, so I could use it, and it was my own data. So got that bit solved. So cut off the front, and that's where we are here. The first point to do, you'll forgive the pun, is to go and mirror the front to see how far out it is. So that is it there. Then I do a comparison. I'll just hide those two. And it doesn't matter which way you view this, but if you look on the right-hand side, you'll see plus 10 millimeters, minus 10 millimeters, green ideal. It's never going to be that very much. So we haven't done too bad here, to be fair. This I would class as successful. I mean, we're out by about 5 here on the valley. It's busted through 10. And by the way, it doesn't matter which way you look at this. It's either plus 10 or minus 10, minus 10, plus 10, because it's a mirror scenario. We're going to go with this, and I'll just go for the right-hand side of the car. Never hide that. So then we've got a tidied up version of the area that we want that we can then mirror over. The next port of call is that we don't want, or I don't want, to have any growth on the panel. The car was obviously scanned looking at the body, not from underneath. If you did the buck to the body surface, then in effect there would be growth on the panel. Well, what I always do is find out roughly what the material thickness could have been, and then inset the whole surface by that amount. So in here, or with this rather, got 1.5 millimeters. So hopefully you can see that. So if that line there is inset 1.5 millimeters from the outside. Go. Then we have to go through the process, we'll say we, the royal we, me, has to go through the process of refining it into an object that can be used in CAD. At the moment, this is CAD. It's not a sort of CAD that a CAD person would want to use. Do that for the original surface and the inset surface. Go. The inset one is purple. The reason being is we're going to need both of those to make sure that when the panels are made, we've got two ways of checking it. So from there, we go to full CAD with the CAD inset as well. When you're doing a job like this, everyone wants what's called quads. Every polygon has got to be 4 sides. And in the polygon police, because basically 3D people, very pedantic, are saying, well, these are not very evenly spaced polygons. Well, in this scenario, the polygons were created based on the tolerance I specify. So they are going to not look perfectly rectangular or square. And I'm fine with that because it's the actual surface that I need to be close to what was scanned. So that's good. So now we can go and bring all this into SolidWorks. At the moment, we're using a different program called Geomagic Wrap or Wrap. Let's go and find the overall. So this is the finished product. And what in effect I've done for Damon, Detmer Metal Shaping, is to create two bucks. An exo buck, which is this one. The idea here is to, and this was done way before the final buck that you've all been raving over, as in the 3D surface milled out, was done, because this is our insurance policy. What happened here is that I created an exo buck so that everything is adjustable from a minimum dimension. So you can see here, you can slide the whole thing in and out. These top areas, see a split. So they all, this whole top area lifts off in its entirety. You've got grill, radiator area, the lights, all the intakes here. The legs can be adjusted to fit how Damon had the car on his jig. Again, here, everything's adjustable. So the idea is to find out just how close the car that I scanned is to the car that Damon has, Detmer Metal Shaping have. Because if it's like massively out, then there's no point, and that has happened, especially with Aston Martin. There's no point in going to all the expense of creating the 3D element that goes here. That was done. That was created. There's some pictures here in a second. And then we move on to the assembly, having the green created. Again, just to prove it, about the inset, see here that the green inset 1.5 millimeters surface of the external buck. Builds. This is the final scenario sorted out. This here was just so it matched the back plate of one of the stations, but as it happened, Damon and the machining people did it a different way, which is good because undercuts are difficult to deal with. There you go. That is one symmetrical and well surfaced buck with the cutouts for all the features that are required, sorted in a way that they can be machined and help create this body. And the final version is there, and I'll leave you with some pictures of the big bucks in Damon's premises. I'd say that one of the reasons why I've done this video is because I know a lot of you metalworking guys just think I press a few buttons, or people like me press a few buttons and bosh, out comes a buck, and where's the skill, etc. in that. But there genuinely is, as you can hopefully see here, a lot of work to go and get product that actually is useful to people in the metalworking trade. You know, everything from finding a car to knowing tolerances, to being aware of what cars you'll have trouble with. So there you go. That's my little bit of a justify my own existence bit. If anyone needs a buck, please go and, that's a bit dodgy, please go and give us a call.